Uh-huh.
So
she's at 3.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh, that was
no
a chapter.
3.
It was a chapter 3, but now.
Now.
Okay. Yeah, you have option from 1 to 28.
21.
21. So. Oh my God. Okay. Yatu pratyupakarartham palam udishyava puna dhyate cha parikshishtam taddanam rajasam smritam. Translation. But charity performed with the expectation of some return, or with a desire for further results, or in a grudging mood, is said to be charity in a mode of passion. Purported by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Lives.
Yay!
Charity is sometimes performed for elevation to the heavenly kingdom, and sometimes with great trouble and with repentance afterwards. Why have I spent so much in this way? Charity is also sometimes made under some obligation at the request of a superior. These kinds of charity are said to be made in the mode of passion. There are many charitable foundations which offer their gifts to institutions where sense gratification goes on. Such charities are not recommended in the Vedic scripture. Only charity in a mode of goodness is recommended. Om Agyantirinandasya Gyanajana Shalakaya Chakshunanvaitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my humble obeisances unto my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Open my darkened eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. So this is a verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is explaining very scientifically about the 3 modes of material nature. This is science, but a science which is not known to materialistic society. This is a science of matter, actually. Everything in the material world is controlled by the 3 modes of material nature. The mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. Mode of goodness means knowledge, arts, elevation, purification, things like that. Mode of passion means fruitive activity, working very hard, sex life, things like that, passion. And then you have mode of ignorance, which is laziness, sleep, ignorance, like that. So these 3 gunas and the various mixtures, they create the different varieties in the material world. Just like, you said that you like to do many variations in the chanting, varieties. Variety is a mother of enjoyment. If you have one thing over and over and over, it will become very bored. It's actually unnatural. And why is it so? Because our consciousness, that which moves this body, is dynamic. It's a dynamic force. This consciousness is situated in the static atmosphere. The material world, everything is static. Right? The table is always going to be there, stand there, static. Static means stand. Right? I think it's come from that same word, static, stand. So everything is limited, everything is static, nothing has any free will, everything is like a dead, insentient matter. This is the material world. But these different insentient objects, they become alive when there's a consciousness, when there's a personality, when there are people working with the objects. So the people, the person is alive because of consciousness, not because of the body. This is our great foolishness. We think, I have to eat, otherwise I'm going to die. If it was so, then a person dies, an old person dies, you give him a hamburger and he lives again. Right? But that is not possible. If it was possible, then we could solve the death problem by eating. But if a person dies, you can give him hamburger, you can give him fries, you can give him whatever you like. You will never become alive, because it's not by the body we live. We never die. Consciousness never dies. Consciousness is ever living. So this fear of dying is actually our illusion. And it's illusory because we identify with the body. That's why we're afraid, oh, I'm going to die. Oh my God. Oh, I'm going to be starving. I have to eat. I have to do this, so many things. So the consciousness is full of unpredictable behavior. It is not static. Just like if I put Dominica here next to a table, she's not going to stand here for 10 years. She's going to walk around and, well, you know, what am I doing here? You know, this is nonsense. I will do some community gardening.
Can I go to work?
Yeah. Can I, you know, grow some nice plants here on the table and make it a little interesting? Because you're conscious, you're consciousness. So this is why we're so attracted to varieties. Because consciousness is ever changing. It's always full of varieties, full of dynamic changes, unpredictable behavior, full of imagination, fantasy, and this is the principle of pleasure. Many people won't say, I want to be happy. I don't want to be Krishna conscious. I just want to be happy. I'm okay. I don't want to chant Hare Krishna. I just want to be happy. What's wrong with that? You know, that is my religion. I want to be happy. I want to smile, be positive, and so on and so on. But they don't know what is the principle of pleasure scientifically. Krishna explains scientifically why we are happy and why we're not happy. See, if our consciousness is checked, if I can't do what I want to do, if I have to do some limited activity on and on, going to the city, working, right, then coming back home. Every major city works like that. People go to work and go back home, watch television, and so on and so on. They're not happy. They feel like, what's the aim of life? Let me drink, let me smoke, let me cover it somehow, let me escape. Right? People want some escape. Why do they want to escape? Because it's unnatural. This life, materialistic life, is unnatural. So in the material world, these three modes of material nature, they create these varieties for consciousness to enjoy. Our actually body, our body is the combination of these three modes of material nature. So different animals, they're governed by a particular mode of nature. For example, a tiger. Tiger is considered to be in mode of passion, very passionate, like that. A cow. If you've seen a cow, we were just visiting a farm. A few days ago, we were on a farm in the east of Slovakia, and there was a cow, and many cows actually. They were grazing there, and they look very nice. Cows look very sexy. They have a very nice shape, and they look very cute. Yeah.
I know. Nice animals.
Yeah, very nice animals, and they're very peaceful. She just needs a little bit of grass, and she gives you so much milk. So she's considered to be in a mode of goodness. This is a science. There's a difference. A tiger and a cow. The behavior is different. And then, in a mode of ignorance, in a mode of ignorance, we have a very particular animal, the monkey. Monkey is, just jumping around, doing all kinds of mischief, doesn't know what to do. In Vrindavan, a place where Krishna appeared, Vrindavan, the holy place in India. The monkeys, they steal the glasses, some shiny things, money, they steal. Sometimes they steal the money, they're so intelligent. And they steal money or glasses, and they jump on the roof, and they do a bargaining. You wanna? Glasses, give me some chapati, give me some puri, and you have to give him some food. And then he exchanges, okay, here's your glasses. And if he's angry, he takes the chapati and bangs the glasses on the floor. So mode of ignorance, no mode of ignorance. They don't know what to do. And that's like people today, they're very active, they do a lot of things, but they don't know why they do certain things. Anything. They don't know why. Because everyone is doing it, so let's do it. Why are you asking such stupid question? Just go. Go, jump off the cliff. It's very nice. What's wrong with you? So, there are different modes of material nature, and there are different varieties of species and life which are governed by these material modes. And these material modes, it is not stereotyped. They're in constant competition. One time the mode of passion overcomes, one time the mode of ignorance, one time the mode of goodness. And that's why the mind is always disturbed. The aim of yoga is to fix the mind, focus the mind. If the mind is going here and there, it's very difficult to do whatever you want. Even in ordinary life, if your mind cannot focus, you can't do anything. That's why people who are mentally deranged, they can't perform in the regular society. They're like a broken part of a machine. They have to be removed and put in a nice
asylum,
for the psychopaths. And they're there, and they're putting medicine into them, and so on, so on. So this Krishna consciousness, this mantra we're doing, the Maha Mantra chanting, is the curing of the mental disease of being governed by the mind. People actually, they don't understand that they are actually brainwashed. They're brainwashed by their minds. The mind is like a mirror. The mind reflects the conditioning of these three material modes. It reflects. So whatever conditioning you put yourself in, your mind will reflect it. Your mind will reflect it. Just like if you're in a nice atmosphere, right, everything is peaceful, nice and clean, and your mind is pacified. If you go to a punk concert, everything is dirty and people are lying on the floor and drinking and so on, so on, and you want to sit down and read nice Bhagavad Gita, is it possible? No, it's not possible. The mind is like so much disturbed. The persons are screaming and shouting, So we're being affected by these material modes. Now, in this shloka, Krishna explains about charity. He says that even charity can be divided into charity in different modes of material nature. And that is very important. First of all, what is the purpose of charity? We want to do charity. Actually, this is very natural. We don't enjoy money. We don't enjoy, amassing money and, like Scrooge, right? DuckTales, Scrooge is swimming in a pool of coins. We don't actually enjoy that. Even a Scrooge, he wants to give something to do with the money, because again, we want rides. We want a movement. We want some excitement, something to go on.
That's why he invests the money?
That's why he invests, yeah. He invests the money, and, move the money. But what is his ultimate purpose in investing the money?
To get more money.
To make more money, but he wants to enjoy the money. If he doesn't enjoy the money, then actually he is not a rich person, he is a very poor person. Is it? So the aim of charity is to spread the wealth, to share, because we want to see others to be happy. That is our real pleasure, to see someone else happy, to please someone else. This idea of I want to please myself is contradictory. I just want to be happy with myself and I don't want to share with anyone else. It's contradictory because I am not myself. I am not myself. If you divide I, myself, you have two persons. But you're one. You're not two persons, you're one person. You're individual. Individual means indivisible. Cannot be divided. So when people say, I want to satisfy myself, who is that myself? That is the body, which we are not. This is illusion. So, actually, from the Vedas, we understand that there's no need to satisfy yourself, because the self, by its own nature, is full of bliss. It's already blissful. The self, on its own accord, is already blissful. As soon as we try to become happy, we actually suffer. We're running after happiness, which we already have, and we become entangled. Oh, I gotta, I have to be happy myself. I have to satisfy myself. So I have to go to work, earn money, and do so many things, and and we actually suffer So the ancient sages in India, for generation and generation, they understand this, that no, let me go the other way around. Let me look into myself, who am I? And let me purify all these illusions, all these attachments, unnecessary work. And then when they're all removed, then I enjoy from within. I enjoy myself truly. You know, the self is full of pleasure, no need of anything. Self-sufficient, you know, perpetuum mobile on happiness. So, still, the self, yes, it's happy on its own accord, but as I was explaining before, we need varieties. I am minute. And myself, my soul, is minute. It's a tiny consciousness. Just like my country said, a little iskrichka. We're a little iskrichka, and we're not God. We're not God. If we're God, some people think I'm God. But if you're God, then why are you working? Why are you on a job? Why you go to the dentist? Why are you depending on someone else? It's again a contradictory thing. No, I'm put into miserable situation. Sometimes I suffer, I struggle, and I want to solve it. You know, I'm struggling with the material energy. Right, waking up in the morning, I have to wake up. It's like a big thing, you know. Especially, you know, sometimes, you know, the two of us, we wake up quite early at 4 o'clock. Sometimes it's very difficult. Like, it's like a big struggle out of the ignorance to come out and find all the material energy. You know, material energy says, sleep, it's okay. But, you know, we have to rise because our spiritual master said we have to do this. It's our duty. We're monks. We're supposed to do this. So we have to struggle very hard, you know. So how can we say that I am God? That is foolishness. There is a higher energy. You might call it God, you might call it nature, you might call it boss, but there's a higher authority, and we're constantly battling with it. Let's be honest, you know. Let's not be foolish. No. Stubborn. No. There's no. I'm controlling everything. I'm free. No. The more actually you're thinking you're free, the more you become enslaved. You know, you can see all the commercials, all the advertisements. They all are playing on this card. You're free. You can do whatever you want. You're the coolest. You are the best. You're the this. So people foolishly, they believe it. Yeah, actually, they're right. I'm the coolest. Oh, you want to be the coolest? Yeah, I want to be coolest. Okay, you need this and that iPhone and such a car and this and that. Okay, sure. What do I do for you? Well, you just work very hard on a job and pay me money. Okay, sure, because I'm the coolest, right? I don't have to follow anyone. I'm the free. Yeah. See, this is our foolishness. The more we try to become free, the more the more we think we're free, the more we become subjugated. And vice versa. The yogis, they understand that no, I'm not free. I'm actually completely bound. And they're honest. And what happens, actually, when they understand, when they admit that yes, I'm being controlled at every moment, they become truly free. Because they start to analyze, you know, they start to analyze, my bondage is like this, why am I doing this? What is the purpose of this? Cut one attachment. Oh, is this really necessary? Cut another attachment. Why do I need this? I don't need these guys. Cuts again. You see? So, because the consciousness is full of varieties, the real pleasure is to serve others, because by pleasing others we derive such a pleasure that even the pleasure of the soul on its own accord is insignificant. Actually, that pleasure compared to the pleasure of serving others and ultimately Krishna is higher than the pleasure of liberation. Right now we have to, you know, do so many things, struggle with the material energy. So there's a class of yogis, you follow? There's a class of yogis, they reach to the point of liberation. They understand I'm not this body, and they become free from the need of sleeping, eating, sex life, fighting. They become free. They don't have to eat anymore, they don't have to sleep anymore, they don't have to do anything, they don't have to die. Imagine, this is possible by yoga. But this is still not Krishna consciousness. This is the impersonal liberation. So even they become frustrated in that state of liberation. They enjoy full eternity, they enjoy full knowledge, and they enjoy blissfulness of getting liberated from the misery. But even they cannot remain in that position, and they again engage in material activities because the pleasure of serving others is higher, because it's full of varieties. So now the problem is that if we serve others, that is actually again serving myself, because who you can please, actually, who you can serve. You can serve your family, at most you can serve some community garden, you can serve the nation, but you can't serve everyone. That's why you're always bound to serve only a limited circle of your influence. And that makes it, you can say, extended selfishness. Extended selfishness. You have internal, how do you call it? Internal?
Centered.
Centered selfishness, and you have extended selfishness. You know, people are they become very proud that, you know, I'm not selfish. I very obediently serve my family. Very faithfully I serve my family. Well, why is he serving his family? Because his family is giving him all the praise and all the pleasure and everything. Why is he serving other family? Some family in Africa, why is he not serving them? If he's so loving. Right? So this is a challenge to the modern thinking of charity ultimately. You know? We cannot become happy by serving others. That is simply my illusion that I'm making them happy. And furthermore, I can only serve. What is that service? I can serve the body. I can supply some eating. I can give some food for the mind. Oh, you're so nice. Some praise like that. But if I don't serve their soul, if we don't engage in spiritual service, mutual love, you can say association on spiritual platform. It is just like, you know, you have a coat and you have some dirt on your coat. I clean the coat, but you're actually starving yourself. You're hungry. You don't care about some coat. That is very insignificant matter. You're starving, and I wash your clothes very nicely. You die of hunger. See, it's very superficial. So we're all cleaning our coats. I clean your coat, you clean my coat, and he cleans his coat, and he cleans 1,000 coats. No one's clapping, very good. But no one is supplying the food to the soul. So this Krishna consciousness, we supply the food for the soul. And it is very convenient because you don't have to serve everyone on the planet or in the universe or whatever. You can stay in this place here if you simply chant for Krishna. Everyone is included in Krishna. So by serving Krishna, everyone is actually pleased. That is the real service. Everyone is pleased. Just like you water the root of a tree, automatically branches and roots develop. You got separate endeavor. Okay, so charity, performing the mode of passion or mode of ignorance. The charity mode of ignorance is given to persons who will misuse the money. You know, just like some people, they beg homeless people and so on and so on. So many of them are addicted to intoxicants. And I might think that, oh, I give some charity, I'm a very good person. That is, yeah, you're a very good person from the point of view that you're giving up something that you earned and you will renounced. But what you don't realize that by giving money to a person who will buy things which actually will destroy him, you're implicated in karma, implicated in karmic reaction. You know, and there is a punishment for this type of charity. So that's why it's called charity in mode of ignorance. It is a good intention, but because it's performed in a mode of ignorance, the reaction is negative. Is the adverse reaction. You know, it's like Adolf Hitler. He also had a good intention. He had some good intention. He wanted to do something good. He wanted to do. So he wanted to solve some problems. The British, they were actually oppressing the Germans before the war started. The British imposed some very tough rules, and they couldn't export their goods, and it was an oppression of the German people. So Hitler, he was thinking, okay, well, let me do something good, and let me help out my friends, and let me do something good. And that's why people actually believed in him, right? Because they actually understood that, oh, this person, he wants something good for us. But because it was a mode of ignorance, he didn't know how to do good. What is the actual good? He did so much harm for others. You see? So Krishna, he explains very scientifically that charity mode of ignorance is given to an unworthy person. Unworthy person. Person who take the money and he will actually destroy himself or others. You see? So you might have a good feeling, I'm a very charitable person, but this is ego. This is ego. It's simply another type of selfishness. I enjoy the feeling I'm a very good person. Oh. And some people also, they'll praise you. Oh, he was very nice. You care about the homeless people. Very good. So I saw this many times. I was distributing books in Montreal. And very difficult. Some very difficult people say, no, I don't need this. What is the use of these books? I don't care. Oh, this is some religion. I'm not into religion. But a homeless person comes in. I talk to someone on the street, and a homeless person comes. And I'm just asking, this is nice Bhagavad Gita. It costs only to give whatever you can. It's very cheap. Actually, a book like this costs like $30 in a bookstore in Montreal. We're giving them for 10 because we're not making any money. Very little. We give for printing, a little bit for the prasadam, but very little money we make out of these books. So I'm asking, please, can you give a little donation? You can keep this very nice book. And the person is like almost like interested, but then. They're like, okay, wait, just let me see. And she was looking in her bag for the money, and a homeless person comes. He cuts into my presentation. He cuts in. He says, "Hi, I'm very hungry. Can you give me money for a pizza?" And the woman, she just completely becomes mesmerized by this homeless person, and she pulls out the money, and she gives $20 to this person. Actually, you can see that person, he's not hungry or anything. He's going to use the money for drugs. But she thinks, oh, he's hungry, this ego thing. And she actually, then the homeless person leaves with the $20. He's going to buy his dose of heroin or something. And then I'm asking, so, you wanted the Bhagavad Gita? It says, actually, sorry, I have no money. So bye. This is what happened. So, the mode of ignorance, mode of passion is that I'm expecting some result. I give charity and then I expect some praise or some, many times that also happens that people give us charity, people give us donations. And then later on we become friends and so on, and they come to the temple and they say, can you do this? Can you do that? Of course, it's something against our principles. They try to impose. I was just sorry, we can't do that. It's not. Our spiritual master doesn't allow this. And they say, oh, but I gave you donation, and you don't want to do this. What is this? You have the money, and so on and so on. So this is more of passion. That he gives donation, but actually he doesn't want to give. He doesn't want to support. He wants to control. He wants to buy, like a prostitute. Like a prostitute. That's why a Brahmin, a devotee, a real devotee, he should be careful who he's taking the donation from. Not just taking from anyone, but he should make some discrimination. If it's a nonsense person, he will not take. He will rather die. He will rather die. That is a real Brahmin. Of course now in India it's perverted. Now caste system, nobody actually understands. But a real Brahmin, he is self-realized. He understands, I'm not this body. And that's why he can teach the knowledge purely. Because he understands, I am not this body. So he cannot be bought by anyone. That's why the whole system, Varnashram system, works very nicely. Because the politicians, those who are in charge, the administrations, the kings, saint, the kings, whatever, they come to this Brahmin to ask for guidance. How do we rule over the country? What do we do? And because the Brahmin, he cannot be corrupted, he speaks the truth as it is. And that's why the whole Vedic civilization was working so nicely without any corruption or anything, because the Brahmins were holding the truth. As soon as the Brahmins deviated, when they become purchased by this so-called charity, the whole system failed. You know, they bribed the Brahmins. The Brahmins started speaking something partial for some party, like it is now, right? All the politicians are bought. Corporations, they bought the politicians, and just like puppets. You know, the corporations say this like that, and the politicians just say like that, like that. This is what is going on. It's actually the corporations, they control the law and everything. So that's why the whole society is suffering. So the charity mode of goodness, the charity which is actually worth of giving, is giving to such realized persons, because they will use the charity to spread this knowledge. They will not misuse the money. Someone who's self-realized, who's enjoyed from within, he's not going to engage in so many unnecessary sense pleasures, going to casino, and going to brothel, going to discotheque, and so many things, concert, and whatever. He will not need these things. So he's the right person to accept the charity and utilize the charity, because he will utilize it for the benefit of everyone. For the benefit of everyone. The whole society actually prosper. You know, and that is very nice. Our movement is like that. That we take donations, but when we have the money, we immediately try to do some charity to others. See, this is another sign of a Brahmin, that he accepts charity and he also distributes charity. He doesn't keep the charity. There's a saying that Brahmin, in the morning he's poor, and in the evening he's also poor. In the middle he gets a donation, but in the evening again he's on zero. You know, because he's always working with the charity. He doesn't keep anything for himself. So like that, you know. And this charity is more of goodness that will produce a spiritual realization. Such the charity actually purifies the heart. There's a tremendous benefit for such charity. And it purifies the heart, and one becomes spiritually qualified. Spiritually qualified.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, I'm just thinking, I have the both the books, you know.
Okay.
But you guys do really like not to misuse this money. But there are many Hare Krishnas in, not many, but some in Bratislava, streets of Bratislava offering this. You know, I drive a bicycle and
Okay.
like, zoom. Tell this is copy.
I'm thinking that you know, when you were talking about homeless, there are a few organizations in Bratislava that actually try to you know, work on providing them with some actual help to recover some you know, because the problem is that not that they couldn't be employed. They can find work. The thing is that once they get again some money and open a bank account or whatever, they face executions. You know, because they are usually they are
In debt.
In debt.
That's why they are without home. You know, too much. So these organizations, they not just help them find shelter and you know, they come and work regularly, but also give this legal service, so they you know can have some calendar so that they can pay their debts in pieces and stuff. And I think this is something very different from giving a donation directly to the person.
Yes,
Than
of course.
having this organization that actually like you know
Tries to solve the problem.
yeah, they put like they are given some charity from bigger organizations and foundations, but then redistribute money in a way that is more useful and less harmful.
Yes, and it's intelligence.
Yeah, so this feels like could be the way. Well, there's still the question where who gives the money and if they wait something for their benefit.
Yes. Well, see, this is another thing about the money. This is a whole artificial civilization. In the Vedic civilization, there are 4 groups, 4 castes. And these are not by birth, these are by qualification. Everyone has a different nature. Someone likes to work menially, someone likes to work intellectually. Someone likes to be politician, organize things. Someone likes to bank money, and so on, so on. So these 4 classes are there. There's only Shudras, the workers, who are actually earning. The rest, they're not actually serving. They're independent. They don't have to go to a job, or whatever. And why? Because there's immense supply of foodstuff. We have created artificial civilization, and we don't have foodstuff. No one is growing food. The real necessities, they're not concerned. The artificial needs, an artificial civilization. That's why we have to work so hard. And so much, because we're building something that is unnecessary. You know? It's like, you know, I tell you, go and count the grains of sand on the beach. Go and do it. And, you know, you start doing it, and, you know, I say, why are you doing this? You know, well, I have no time, I gotta work. You know, I have things to do here. So if the food is being grown, you know, if we grow food, and we have cows with milk, and simple house, you don't need like a big skyscraper, simple house. Everything is very nice, and you have local, everything is local. The doctor is local, the lawyer is local, everything is local. You don't have to travel all the way to the other side of the city to go to your job. And everything is very nice. There's no need of work. You can chant Hare Krishna, you can discuss, you can think about things. That's how people used to live. But now people, they don't even have time to stop and think about, like, what am I doing? What is the purpose of all of this? There's so much stuck in this rat race. Everyone is like racing. So there's no shortage of money. If society.
I guess it's absolutely the matter of distribution of whatever
goods,
we
yeah.
call wealth, if it's food or money, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's not enough, just not well distributed.
That's right.
Because some people do charity,
yeah.
and some don't.
Yeah.
So there's not enough distribution in the right place.
Yes. Like in America, they're throwing tons and tons of food in
You know
water.
that in France, they just passed a law that
Yeah,
the
I saw that on
supermarkets
Facebook.
will not be able to throw food
Yeah.
out. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The food is throwing out.
In France, they passed a law that supermarkets will have to donate everything that is, like, you know, out
charity.
of date, which is expired, to charity. So.
But you can't give something what's expired to somebody because the thing can be rotten or.
They can do it in France.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, most of the stuff still usable. You know, it's just the date.
This is another example. This is another example of that artificial civilization.
Yeah.
I know how these laws work. The peach has a little tiny scratch. They throw it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they keep artificial standards. We have to be the best.
Yeah.
You know, we have to have shiny apples, and, you know, so it looks very nice. And they've made these artificial standards. You know.
So rather, it is very good, because then you go out on the street and you just collect like 20 kilos of fruits.
That's right.
Yeah, but you know, usually supermarkets here, they keep their trash bins locked. So anyway. And also the restaurants, they have to throw food away.
They have to.
They have to, because if they would really like donate it, especially something, they could have like a real bad problem, legal problem. And it's like, because it's risky in a way, but the risk is low, that nobody really like wants to take it.
The risk is that people won't be hungry.
Yeah, I mean the risk.
The risk is that they will not make any money.
In this perception is that if somebody, if the food really is like, you know, that somebody will get ill or something or sick from it, they can, you know,
they can go back to this person and say like, you have given her.
Just see how
You know,
just see how
the
hypocrites,
Right.
how hypocritical they are, and they saying, oh, there's a risk, but at the same time they're feeding people with so much meat, which is, you know, the most unhealthy poison you can put in your body. It's all the cancers, all the heart attacks, everything is from eating meat. So on one hand they say, oh, there's a risk, you might get poisoned. But, you know, they feed you with the poison since your childhood, and then you end up with a heart attack.
Yeah.
And there is one more thing which is quite a stereotype in here, that when you say charity, you just people usually directly connected with money, and there is actually different things that you can give, for instance, money, like, you know,
Clothes.
like you know, workforce, you know, to go and do something voluntary, or education and stuff that you usually don't consider to be charity.
Yeah.
So, and there is been a turn in also in this modes of grants given by foundations, and some also offer now not just money or maybe just money, but they actually educate people to be able to find sources in their neighborhoods and local the local to explore the local potential, like who can help, how can they help each other, who can actually be the charity in their neighborhood, so they don't have to reach out beg for money somewhere and stuff. So
Linking up.
yeah,
Yes.
some change.
So we're doing prasadam distribution. That is our program. In our temple, whenever you come, we always give prasadam free of charge. That is our program, and you know, this is very nice because this is how everyone can understand that, you know, we can live without money. We don't necessitate. We simply connect with Krishna. Ultimately, Krishna is supplying all the money. The money is in exchange for gold. So Krishna has made the gold. And you have come at a certain point, you took the gold. It was not yours, you just took it from nature and you put it in a bank or whatever. You exchange it for the paper, useless paper, valueless paper, exchanged, and now it's a big thing. But originally it belongs to Krishna. So if you connect with Krishna directly, then you don't have to go through the money and the banks and so on and so on. Krishna supplies everything directly. Alright, so we're guests.